Well, from August the 4th to the 26th, Virgo does his yearly move through the sign of Virgo. And this is a time where we can all breathe a bit of a sigh of relief when it comes to all things mercurial. He's in his home sign. He brings some great strength there. He can really help support honest and clear communications, the truth being revealed, and information that you need to know. Now, how this impacts the world, there's a couple highlights this month. It looks like some really interesting, if not important news regarding pandemic measures or the pandemic protocols, as well as pandemic news in general that will extend, by the way, all the way until September. I'll get to that in a minute, but also for your sign, rising sun or moon, it's going to be about where that Virgo piece of your sky sits. Alrighty, there's 12 houses, 12 areas of influence where Mercury will make some really lovely aspects during the next 3 weeks, right? August 4th to the 26th, while he travels through Virgo. The last time he went through Virgo, FYI, was in the summer of 2021, August 12th to the 30th, just to give you a reference. Now, before we get going, hey, I'm Lori Lothian, the Lunatic astrologer on this website. Welcome if you're brand new. Please know that I'm a Western tropical astrologer. I'm not doing sidereal or Vedic astrology. I'm also using whole sign houses, ancient tools from Hellenistic astrology, and I'm very fond of asteroids as well as stars. I often bring them into the story. Please also like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications so you'll know when I'm doing something new and help my channel grow. And last but not least, just taking care of a bit of business here. Sky Reader intro course. It's Be Your Own Astrologer, Time Your Best Life. 8-week class is starting up again in October. Early bird notice and get in on the wait list for that. Check the links below. I do cap how many students can come in, so you might want to be on that wait list. It's first come, first serve. And I have my Divine Timing Masterclass for intermediate level astrologers or someone who knows the basics, at least, to learn some really cool, fun, and simple and easy divine timing predictive techniques in astrology. Enrollment's now open for that, and it begins in September, and this will be my 4th time teaching that class. All right, so let's get rolling. Let's start off with the very, very basics of Mercury. What is Mercury? He's the messenger of the gods. He was always dispensing news for Jupiter, and he spent a lot of time hanging with Pluto in the underworld, so where he was acting as a kind of messenger for both gods. In fact, he was good for helping people transition to the underworld, like a psychopomp, and he could give people dreams at night, like whispers from the gods in your nocturnal dreams. He's also the agent of what we now call synchronicity. He's a mischief maker, a coyote, and a trickster as well. But when he's in Virgo, he's pretty darn solid. He's in his home sign, and he's acting in his best, in our best stead, in his best possible way. He's also the owner of the Gemini corridor of your chart as well. But he's definitely really, really powerfully acting positively in Virgo. And so he's coming out of a place before he gets to Virgo, right, in the sign before, which is Leo, where he can be very hot-headed, argumentative, intense, fiery energy. And now he's simmered down to cool earth, or, Virgo, calm earth, details everyone, fine print, bring order to chaos energy. Now, I'm going to talk about the collective. I'm going to show you a picture of the sky, and then I'll do the all signs. So here we have the picture of the sky on August the 4th, and you can see here that we've got Mercury moving into the sign of Virgo, and the rest of the sky is splattered around the sky, as you can see. Now, in this particular story, Virgo, 0 degrees, you can see that the first thing that Mercury will collide with in aspectual relationship, okay, is both Cupido, the god of passion and eros and life force and whatever turns you on, and this is actually a trans-Neptunian placement, if you want to know how I put that in there. And there is, which I won't go into detail now, but I found after using Cupido for 4.5 years, he's a very accurate indicator, moves slow like Pluto. He's a little bit like a Plutonian energy. He takes like 250 years or more to go around the heavens in his orbit. But he is anchoring down at the 3rd degree of Capricorn. And it's Mercury who will come into a beautiful flow with this thing of passion and eros and life force and vitality and what you're smitten by and where you're turned on. At the same time, he will go into an opposition to the Vestal flame of what you're devoted to, what you're persevering for, what sacred fire you're tending. And because when he does that, it forms what's called a wedge. Think of it like a door stopper here, right? That wedge pattern reveals to us that Cupido is taking the kinetic tension between the messenger and the Vestal flame of devotion and popping it out as some kind of passion release. Now, we're going to give you your signs version of it, but I want to make a couple of comments about the pandemic. When Mercury is moving in the early degrees of Virgo, he happens to be in a almost exact square to another asteroid called Pan for pandemic. Now, Pan will be hovering around the early degrees of Gemini at the time that Mercury is moving through the early degrees of Virgo. Mercury, the messenger, is powerful here. Pandemic in Gemini, which is lungs and air and respiratory energy, is being squared or given pushback by Mercury. So Mercury has more power. So I'm going to call this something to do with big reveals, especially because at the end of the month, Mercury will come into an opposition to Pluto, and that will be about the revelation or the dispensing of truth against confusion, obfuscation, and the outright what do you call it when you lie, but deceptions, okay? But as Mercury's coming into the square to Pan, we're going to have to pay attention to what that might reveal about some kind of pandemic information, Mercury, pandemic news, pandemic revelation, pandemic details, pandemic health protocols, Mercury and Virgo, that's coming into announcement territory in the sky. In the US natal chart, the place of this announcement, because the United States is born as a 12 degrees Sagittarius rising, is happening in the United States 10th house. So it could be announcements by the US Sibley chart 10th house, people in power, press secretaries, governing people, Dr. Fauci, who's should not be saying much anyway because he's the NIH guy, but anyways, a doctor making all the announcements. Some sort of public announcement from a governance place is likely to happen in the US. I'm going to just call it, it's between August 4th and August the 7th or 8th or so. And it's going to be on August the 6th that this will become also the wedge that I talked about, which is good for each of us in some way. But because of that ongoing tension with Pan for pandemic, it needs to be also addressed. I would say that there is some twofer deal here going on where with this Mercury on the date of the wedge is perfecting around the 6th or so of August, but you're feeling it, August 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. The Vestal flame is like in the sign of Pisces. It's a sign that has to do with anything Jupiter cares about, in this case, truth. Jupiter also cares about law and legislation, but Pisces has been afflicted or challenged lately. There's a long Neptune transit through there, which, yeah, Neptune's in its dignity, but it causes issues that confuse people often and in lack of clarity. I'm just going to try to give you guys a lowdown. When this wedge activates, the Vestal flame Mercury will create a T-square to Pan. So it's two things happening at the same time. Individually and collectively, there's a sprout or spurt of some kind of exciting, passionate energy going on in the US 12th house, which is backroom secret deals and negotiations. So we may not know what that excitement's about. And it's pouring rain here. And then for the collective, I feel like Mercury is trying to break something open, break free, some clarity of information that may have been causing confusion around the words health protocols, hygiene, pandemic, and pandemic stuff. So watch for that in the news cycle, especially because on August the 10th, Mercury will come into a sextile to Hygeia, the goddess of hygiene in the sky. And is it on the 10th? Let me double check. Yeah, sextiling Hygeia on the 10th of the month. And when this happens, it's kind of a very intense energy. You'll find that Mercury is sitting on a difficult star called Alioth, often has to do with the patriarchal demonization of the feminine, but also it has a lot of power. And as Mercury sits on Alioth and Hygeia sits on Mimosa, which is for reforming zeal, a few things could be happening August 10th. There could be some breaking news or information to do with the hygiene and the hygiene protocols, like the United States, for example, opens its borders up. Okay, and decides that you can get into the country without a vaccine or double vaccine, which most countries around the world have done. United States and Canada are lagging. So weighing that in, I think a sextile Hygeia would be a laxening of strictures and standards around pandemic restrictions, protocols, pandemic passports, and things like that. August 10th is where I'm seeing that possibly hit a high note for everybody. In the US chart, oh, did I say Capricorn was the 12th house? I apologize. Skip what I just said about that. I had a brain fart. It's the money house. So there's a big passionate boost around the US, maybe earnings, money story going on. around this wedge, but at the same time, pandemic news is breaking as well. But anyway, let's go back to, because I'm not just doing mundane astrology. I want to talk about your sign. If you're still with me, look for something going on around that 10th to do with news about the pandemic protocols, not about the virus, I don't think, but about protocols too. And I think it's good news, strong news, true news, news we can count on. All the news is fit to print. When Mercury is in Virgo, I kind of like him. I rely on him. I think he's going to tell us the truth. I hope anyway. And possibly with a Vestal flame there of sacred devotion or a spark involved in a T-square to Pan. I wonder if it's the Vestal flame is moving through the US Sibley chart 4th house, which is also Joe Biden's 4th house. And there may be some news therefore about Joe Biden himself, who came down with COVID, being disclosed to the public. That is information that you can count on to be true. So maybe he's got a return of COVID, Paxlovid didn't work out. He's having long COVID. Some news about Joe should be coming out health-wise or about pandemic protocols around the 10th of August. And then moving forward later on in the month, Mercury will trine Uranus around the 14th to the 18th, most precisely on the 16th. This is surprising news. Now it is square Athena, and Athena can be to do with law, legal affairs, lawyers, knowledge, and strategy. So there is some tension in the sky at the same time, and Athena is sitting on the USA ascendant, more or less, at the time that this happens. So let me just forward the chart to the 14th so you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. I should have done that for the 10th. There's the 10th of the month. And let's move to the 14th or so. And it peaks on the 16th. And so Athena is, within 8 degrees, the United States Sibley chart ascendant rising sign. And she's about something to do with legal matters, strategy, information, news, knowledge, or wisdom. And she is in a relationship that is exciting in some ways, because she is in a pretty strong trine to Saturn at the time that this is all going down, but it's Mercury, some solid information, news, strategy, wisdom coming through into the world in some way regarding laws, rules. And this could also have to do with the justice system stuff regarding Roe versus Wade, or further announcements by the government like, hey, we're now going to write some legislation that overrides some Roe Wade features to allow for safe abortion as a federal right, or something like that. I'm just making stuff up, legislation to bypass Supreme Court stuff, something going on there, maybe being announced right around the 16th of the month. With Mercury trining Uranus and the North Node, it's reactivating the big boom. Now, I hope you've seen my big boom video, lots of details for your sign. I'll put that in the description box. It's going to change each of our lives for 15 years. You need to know about it. But Mercury will be at the 18th degree, and the Uranus will be here because he's going to station retrograde in the 3rd week of August. So he's moving very slowly. He's still at the 18th degree where he was August, July 30th, 31st, August 1st, 2nd, during this massive triad of planets. At that time, Mars was conjunct the North Node and Uranus, the big boom, I'm calling it, paradigm, reality shifting stuff. And because of that, this Mercury reactivates that point, but it's a positive reactivation because he's trying the big boom. He's sending big boom love, So whatever is going on at the end of July and the 1st week of August in your life, this paradigm shifting new direction in some area of your sky, then Mercury comes along and he finishes up the details. So I'll give you an example. The big boom was in my real estate house. Mercury's in the house of money that I can access, loans, mortgages, and stuff like that. So maybe for someone like me, this is a big development, a big breakthrough regarding the themes of a new home and now having the financing available for it. Just an example, okay? So you should know your chart to know the details. I'm just giving overviews. And then the last thing Mercury does is oppose that Neptune on August the 20th. There's certainly going to be some disclosure of something that may have been a misrepresentation or obfuscation or even deception. And that could really boom out some truth around August 20th into the world, into the collective. And with it ongoing trine to Pluto, which represents power, which is also a part of the US Pluto return, no doubt about it, some of this does involve the United States of America. And it is a money story in the US to do with finances. Neptune in the 4th house has to do with the opposing party. So in this case, the Republican Party is not in power. So there could be some big news coming through, or it's something to do with the US real estate market. Some information power news, August 20th. And lastly, I'm going to finish up and say that my gist of this longer story with the pandemic thing, I want to just get you guys down for something I'll talk about later. You know, the asteroid Pan is moving slowly through Gemini. This is where Mars will eventually catch up. Mars will either inflame a pandemic or he will cut off the pandemic at the knees, okay, coming up later in the year. So for instance, September the 1st or so, you're going to end up with a situation where Pan will be sitting on fixed star Aldebaran, a warrior star, and it will be around 9 degrees of Gemini, conjunct Mars at 6 degrees of Gemini. And you're going to see some big changes regarding the thing that we call the pandemic. All right. It's in the 7th house in the United States natal chart. So it has to do with other countries, maybe, but it also just has to do with the idea for the world of some shift of information or news that's quite powerful regarding pandemic. And secondly, there is Apollo, the god of plagues and pandemics, moving really slowly through Leo. And, you know, there's always this thing going on here in the Leo sky, right? Because it's going to be August 11th that there's going to be this moon sitting in Aquarius and full moon. Well, the sun is in Leo and Apollo is tracking with that sun. So this full moon is also connected to Apollo, the god of plagues and pandemics, squaring Pan in the quarter of the sky that represents lungs, respiratory stuff, viruses that affect things that affect the air that we breathe, lungs in particular. So there's something going on here, big news coming later in the month around the 11th with that full moon, and look for the 2 weeks that follow to September, early September. Big changes in the pandemic story is the best I can put it. I honestly don't think it's a worsening. I think it's like somehow it's kind of culminating what will look like endemicity, living with this thing, deciding that we're all going to get Omicron BA5, 6, 8, 12, 15, and 100. And it's now like the new flu or the new cold. And people will stop running around, perhaps with their heads off, worrying about masking children in schools. And perhaps there can be court cases lodged against employers or universities coming up with some of this stuff in August, September to try to put an offense against basically some kind of irrational behavior. And I'm not an anti-masker, anti-vaxxer. I'm just going to say that unless everybody's wearing an N95 and we're well fitted, then there's no point. Cloth masks just don't do the job. All right. That's been proven. And so it's just it's like a talismanic thing on your face that makes you feel safe when you're not. Right. And then the second point is Omicron BA5, which is now everywhere in the world, is something anyone can catch, whether they're vaccinated, not vaccinated, had COVID, didn't have COVID, was vaccinated and had COVID, doesn't matter. This variant has immune escape and vaccine escape. And why the general public doesn't seem to know this is beyond me. You get on Twitter and people are like, mask up, get boosted. The boosters are waning after 2 weeks. Are we going to get boosted every 3 months forever and having a diminishing return curve in which 2 weeks after you're vaccinated, it's already waning by 50%, and a month later it's down to 20%, and like 2 months later that booster doesn't have any efficacy, and then it's showing that it's a declining efficacy each time you boost? All right, I know they're coming out with a new bivalent vaccine which is more Omicron specific, but 50% of Canadians are not boosted and will not want to boost. I don't know what's going on in your country, in the United States. Good luck with that. At this point, people have all had Omicron. Kids have had Omicron. Kids are having BA5. There is robust natural immunity, which has been shown in a Qatar study to last longer than any vaccine solo-induced immunity. That's my rant. If you don't like this stuff that I'm telling you about, go to the All Signs. I'm not anti-vaccine. I'm not anti-mask. I'm just looking at what's coming out in the real medical science news. Okay. Let's keep going. There's political science and there's medical science. I'm talking about the medical science. Had my little rant. Moving forward, let's get into the all signs story. I'm not going to share the screen. It's just too busy with everything that's happening in the month. As I talk about the influence of Mercury in your sign, in the sign of Virgo, I'm talking about whole sign houses, and you're going to think about your rising sign as being most accurate. And then you can check your sun and moon sign as well. And I'm going to talk about, I think I want to talk about one highlight of the transit. There's just so much going on, and I might just grab a whole of the Cupido's fun. On August 6th, the Mercury trine Cupido opposite Vesta, and I'll maybe touch on, depending on my mood, the sextile to Hygeia on August the 10th, where you can bring more flowing information and something to the where you need to clean up or have some celestial hygiene in your sky. Okay, so give me a sec while I cue my back end chart. Okay, we're starting as always with Aries. It's just the simplest way to go. Aries, sun, moon, rising. I have a sun and moon there, and Mercury and Athena. Very Aries if you haven't noticed. Okay, so for you guys, the energy of Mercury moving through the Virgo sky, okay, in the Aries chart is always about your sixth house in whole sign houses. And this house has a lot to do with how you can ground your health and your well-being through mercurial means, okay, through knowledge, through understanding, through research, how you can have protocols in place for better health and work routines. This is like tidying up your desk, sorting your office, getting the most ergonomic chair, being super comfortable in the work routines or in the collegiate space. This is also potentially a time of some really good news coming through. I remember last August, for instance, by the way, I bought a desk so that I have a desk to do my readings in my new apartment with a chair to go with it. That was in August of last year. I literally got as ergonomic as I could in August of 2021, because it's an Aries sun moon. It is my sixth house of work protocol. So let's see what I do this time. I'll probably upgrade another thing in my work environment. But anyway, you're also looking at ways to communicate better in the workspace, or positive collegiate or coworker communications are really, really picking up in a positive way. With Cupido in the 10th house, this is really good for passionate career direction. A lot of this trine to Cupido in the beginning of the month, August 4th to, let's say, the 7th, you're feeling like, yay, I'm passionate, I'm on fire for something that's happening in my career. Yay me, yay go me. And my work habits, routines, and communication style is really supporting that. Yay. And there is a Vestal flame in the 12th house of PayPal, Stripe, payment processors. What fire are you tending back there that is being supportive, as well as by the passion, or what backroom things are you working on in the first week of August that will eventually cause a huge bout of exciting, passionate directionality in your career space. And then later on the 10th, there's that lovely sextile to Hygeia, the goddess where you need to create some kind of hygiene. And this is fiscal hygiene for you, Aries. This is going to positively, Mercury in the 6th house of your work, support fiscal hygiene in your house of bank loans, mortgages, taxes, other people's money that you participate in, loans, things like that. And Mercury is in the house of debts, like credit card debts. So you could really clear a debt of some kind around August the 10th, as circumstances allow. Okay, let's go ahead. This is just a touchdown, right, guys? This is a quickie. And let's do the Taurus people. Taurus, sun, moon, and rising sign. Well, in your natal sky, you have this movement of Mercury in Virgo. Go back to last August 12th to the end of the month for refreshing your memory of this in your 5th house. Now, your 5th house is representative of your children, your lover, your enthusiasm and inspiration for life, your creativity, your creative projects, pregnancy. So be careful here if you don't want a baby, because Mercury can definitely deliver something. So be cautious around fertility if pregnancy for you and your partner is not the thing. But it's also about information from your children, or excitement and positive news information from the one you're with, your sexual partner, your lover. Or deep inspiration from the muse, especially if it's inspired writing. It's a money luck house, and Mercury is a god of commerce. You could have a lucky money break in this window of this transit. Now, there will be that glorious trine to Cupido in the 9th house of legal affairs, where you could suddenly be financially rewarded by a legal judgment in that time of August 4th to the 8th, or an opportunity for romantic travel or trip or getaway, especially to a foreign country, can be planned or taken. Or your children get some really good news about their academic environment, and you're just so excited for them. With support from the Vestal flame in the 11th house, friends as allies supporting those 9th house things, including court cases. Someone might be tending a devotional fire to righting a legal wrong, towards up-leveling you in your career, in your academic setting. Lastly, if you're a Taurus who's writing a book, this is really good news, popping some good, passionate developments in that area of book publishing. I would also say that the Hygeia sextile around the 10th of the month from Mercury is something to do with cleaning up your relationship, your marriage partner or business partner life. It can also be about the details needed to successfully sign a legal contract, making sure that you have a lawyer or some legal eagle eye, clean it up, hygiene over legal contracts, marriage partners or business partners. And with Mercury's support, whatever you will sign or need to sign, if that's true around August 10th, things are working in your favor. Okay, I'm having a hunger attack, but I'm going to get through you guys and then make a giant salad. All right, so moving forward, Gemini, sun, moon, and rising. Well, Gemini, this is Mercury, your dude, right? He's the lord of your ascendant, so he's important to you, and he's what your strong planet. You need to pay attention to him, and he will be in his yearly transit through your fourth house of homeland and real estate. This last happened on August 12th to 30th, 21. When he's here, he's going to focus on things like your mother, legacy wealth, what you want to do, write, message, communicate in and from your home, legal contracts and agreements that are regarding your home, especially with his trine to Cupido in the 8th house of mortgages and loans. You could get an amazingly positive development regarding legal affairs and money to do with real estate and home, especially if it's bank monies and stuff like that. And you're also getting the love up from the Vestal flame in your 10th house, which gives you some kind of perseverance and devotion to your career that's being rewarded by things you're doing from your home, and money that you need may be available to you in a very perfect way around this August 4th to the 7th. And then later, I'm just touching on some of the transits. Remember, I'm not doing every Mercury transit in the month. And so then on the 10th of the month, Hygeia, the goddess of hygiene in your 6th house of health and work routines, is giving Mercury a love up. And so how you work from home, bettering your health, your work routines and habits, bettering your health, collegiate space, bettering your health. Maybe the office moves to a better location. There's a lot of sunlight coming in, so better health through that. But Mercury in the 4th house could also be your home office or something you're doing in your home that makes your work more hygienic or healthy for you or something like that. Cancer, sun, moon, and rising. So Cancer folk, you got Mercury in his movement through your 3rd house. Last happened August 12th until about the end of the month, the 30th. And now it's back again, August 4th to 26th. And this is where you are likely to take a trip. Mercury is a patron planet of travelers to keep them safe. And so some of you Cancers are traveling. Now, I have a sister who I think is a Cancer rising. She's arguing that she's a Leo. And I know she'll be traveling with me to Vancouver from where I'm visiting her. If you ever want a really amazing Reiki healer, she does distance work. She completely healed me of SI joint dysfunction that I could barely walk. And she's doing a lot of great healings these days and getting great reviews from her people. I'll put a link to her site below. But for you guys, Mercury in your 3rd house is definitely an opportunity to plan or to take a journey or a trip. And you could definitely have the experience here with a trine to Cupido, the god of passion, excitement, what turns you on, for this trip to really turn you on or bring up a lot of excitement, because Cupido is in the 7th house of marriage and business partners. For some of you, if you're a single Cancer rising, especially sun and moon to some degree, you're definitely looking at the possibility of romance sparking through travel or learning. You know, Mercury loves to study and research. The 3rd house is skills-based learning. And you might want to go back. Did you learn something last August? And now are you learning something again? And are you just passionate about it? Because Cupido in the 7th is 7th house is your marketplace, your audience, your clients, your others, 10th from the 10th. So you might be learning something for a lot of Cancer rising, especially that you're just so passionate about and will support your audience and client outreach. The Vestal flame in the 9th house suggests foreign land trips can be planned. You might be tending a sacred flame of study or academia, or even the idea of a sacred flame of success in legal matters during the window of August 4th to the 7th, getting a lot of love from Mercury, but also Cupido. Now, Hygeia will sextile the goddess of hygiene, Mercury on the 10th of August from your 5th house. For you, Cancers, this is about your children. Maybe it's about a child having a health challenge, but Mercury brings everything into alignment. Maybe it's information and news about your lover, or something going on regarding hygiene in your sex life, hygiene in your love life, hygiene in your pregnancy life, hygiene in your children's lives, okay? Where you're there's a health thing that's really working and everything's working in flow. Mercury could be finding out the solution by research and study, third house, or trips and travel, or something in the online world where Mercury, a third house can be your online world. So yeah, supporting some kind of goodness in the fifth house. Leo, sun, moon, rising sign. So energetically, you've got this once every year transit in your money house. So, and Mercury is the god of commerce. So if you're a Leo rising, especially sun and moon as well, you're going to start to make money. There's no doubt about it. It's going to be a good money period. Go back to August 12th last year to the end of the month. Were you making more money? Mercury can also help you get your message out or dispense news or information in order to make money. He can help you sell things that you don't need in order to liberate money. All right. Or you may buy a possession that helps you generate more money. Now, like a new computer or something like that. Now, Mercury moving through here will be here, as I said, August 4th to the 26th. We'll encounter some flow with Cupido around the 3rd to the 7th of the month, as he is in a kind of a trine or flowing energy to the god of passion, what turns you on. And what's getting turned on is something to do with your work, the work you do. The work is service, the sixth house, where the servitude and the duty and drudgery become service, and you're feeling in alignment with your truth. So money is aligned to a turn on in your work house. Now, if you're a Leo rising, this Cupido in the work house just entered there in the last couple of years, and he'll be there for a long time, like Pluto, for like the next decade and a half to 2 decades, I have to check. So you're coming into a time of passionate purpose with career. And later on in the month, around the 10th or so, you're going to experience this Hygeia, where you need to clean something up in a sextile to the money-making Mercury. And your second is things to do with your home life. So this will very much look like how you're going to set up your perfect office, or how you're going to do some changes in the home hygienically, clean up fourth house things in order to support the money-making incredible momentum and passion that you're having here. The Vestal flame will also be working through the story, right? And she is, at some point, she's going to square that Hygeia. But you may have some issues with the 8th house where you have to resolve things to do with your savings, your bank accounts, your mortgages, your 401k, your stock investments. But I'm not too worried with Mercury in the 2nd house. I think everything works out. The Vestal flame can be about enduring, persevering, and dedication. And you may need to dedicate yourself to back end things, money behind the scenes, business partner money, and sometimes just the mechanics of money that you are able to secure through banks, credit cards, and things like that, investment structures, passive income. I'm hungry. I'm having like one of those moments where I realize I really should have had more food. Oh yeah, and I'm also kind of like sunburned from yesterday or the day before. I didn't put any makeup on today. I'm just talking to myself and I'm looking at myself, except for a lipstick. So you've got this sunburned cheek look. Okay, I'm just going to cope with it. I don't really care. It's clouding over here. Gonna rain. Moving forward. Yes, Virgo, sun, moon, rising. Well, of course, you love this the most. Virgo, this is the Lord of your ascendant traveling through your sign. Go back to last August 12th to the end of the month. How is that working for you? Now, Virgo is going to Virgo is about your tendency to pay attention to hard work, being of service to others, and also the body and health. And so here Mercury is coming through, helping you regarding your well-being physically and your health. And Mercury will be here from the 4th of August all the way until the 26th. And at some point, he's going to be really killing it with your health. I'm jumping ahead for you because he will sextile Hygeia in the 3rd house of your local neighborhood, meaning that you could find solutions in the local hood regarding better health. And I remember my daughter got COVID last August when this happened, but she quit a job she didn't like. In fact, she may have quit the job before the 12th of August. I can't remember, but she got COVID and she stepped away from a job that was really stressing her out and giving her anxiety. COVID was nothing compared to the stress. She was unvaccinated and she had Delta, and it was like 5 days, no big deal. Don't forget the elderly, the comorbid were the ones that were really struggling. And then she ended up quitting her job. And then her health got better. You know what I mean? So Mercury going through here can find ways to improve your health. That's basically where I'm going. Around the 10th of the month, you're going to see some breakthroughs in that, and it will last maybe about the 20th. And I think my daughter's seeing her dermatologist there for a health challenge as well. So she'll get some breakthroughs from the dermatologist in the local neighborhood. You can also find things here to do with trips and travel and having to hygiene your travel, which means to clear it up, make sure the bookings are solid, do the detail work needed to clean clean up travel plans and make sure that they're completely solid, for instance. And then a little before that, around the 6th of the month, you've got that Cupido activation. Mercury will come into that trine with Cupido, and Cupido sextile the vestal flame of devotion. So there's something that you're devoted to that's very intense and beautiful in the 5th house of sexuality, romance, the muse, inspiration, pregnancy, children, creativity, and it all gets fired up on all cylinders around the 6th of August. But you can basically say the 4th to the 10th, you're firing up some passionate energy regarding your ability to communicate or message something to somebody you care about, a child, your romantic partner, inspiration, all of that. And the Vestal flame in the 7th house of committed love is supporting Cupido. You're trying to align a lot of you Virgos' passion, enthusiasm, vitality, and eroticism and eros with committed long-term love stories. And this is a big energy playing out around the 6th of the month, okay? Give or take a few days. Moving to the next sign, we're going to talk about you, Libra, sun, moon, rising. Now, in the sky, you've got the Virgo transit of Mercury, like you did last August 12th to the 30th. Now it's August 4th to the 26th in your 12th house of your dreams at night. I have to say, Mercury's gift is to give you dream messages from the gods. So pay attention to your dreams. If you don't remember your dreams, then meditate or dream journal or write down dreams and free associate, channel, do something. This is a lovely transit. You're going to get great information from Mercury, especially because he's in this loving trine energy, flow and luck to Cupido in the 4th house of home, real estate, property, the mother, the family of origin, the childhood stuff, the ancestors. Certainly you could channel the ancestors, right? But you could also, Libra, have some information news or something coming through regarding real estate or home from your inspired inner life. Now, Mercury here can also be in the back room, hidden deals and negotiations that you may be engineering with Mercury's help behind the scenes to have some success in a real estate matter or something to do with your home. The Vestal flame of devotion in the work routines house is supporting some breakthrough in the 4th house by it becoming engaged with Cupido. So are you going to move to a home where you have a better space? Are you going to get a different lease? Are you going to upgrade something in your home where you can find yourself engaging in passionate real estate energy, property energy that supports a devotion to the work you're here to do or wish to do in the world? A little bit later, you're going to find that around the 10th, Hygeia plays a role as Mercury moves into the sextile to her in the house of your money and earnings. And there's no doubt about it. South Node's been going through this part of your sky, Libra. You're moving away from the hustle and the earnings, the paycheck and the wages into finding how to make money while you sleep, investment money, making money, real estate property sales, making money. You're looking for 8th house means of money. And now Hygeia is cleaning up some of your hustle energy, your wage earning. And with Mercury in the 12th, it could be a backroom deal with an employer, under the wraps for a while, for a bonus, a raise, a different pay structure, something like that could be going on for a lot of Libras to give yourself more fiscal hygiene regarding the money you earn, take in, possess, and spend. So this could look like spending hygiene as well, being willing to suspend a purchase from a place of awareness and knowing that it's time to have some monetary spending hygiene in this month of August. Scorpio, sun, moon, and rising, Mercury moving through your 11th house of good spirit. Fairy godfathers and mothers live up here. It's pennies from heaven. Mercury is a money god like Venus, but he's usually money from commerce or investments or stock markets. So if you are investing in the stock market at all, I kind of think this could be a nice little pop for you, for one thing, especially given that you will have a huge amount of energy in 3rd week of August as Mars enters your investments and your 401k and the stock energy. But be careful too, because there will be turbulence this fall in the markets, especially in October. Now, with this transit, you had it last year between the 12th and the 30th of August. Go back and remember what was happening around the idea of the good spirit house. You know, friends who want to help you, you know, give you a favor, support you. They're your allies. They want to benefit you. This is the 11th house. And good news information coming through with friends with financial benefit maybe, or some benefit for you. And there's this love up from Mercury in the early part of the month, especially around the 6th, to Cupido, the god of passion and ardor and dedication and with excitement to something you care about that you're turned on by. but it's your third house. So Scorpio, this is things to do with trips and travel, especially not too far away, local neighborhood events like pubs and bars and fun things you can do, especially Mercury up here. You could have the opportunity to purchase a ticket to an event that was sold out and you have a break. A friend gifts you a ticket to a concert and you can't believe your luck. It's just a fun little time around August the 6th. Yet you got the Vestal Flame offering support from the house of romance and children and creativity. And if you are a creative, artistically inspired Virgo, Scorpio, this is great for your muse to shout at you on full tilt about some creative idea that you may want to take into consideration. And it may even be sparked from a friend or a message from a friend. Now, I need water. I'll be right back. I am having a dry throat. I'm back. I'm back with water so I can survive. All right, continuing on. I think I was just finishing up with the last sign, and I don't think I'm going to cut the recording so quickly. Let me go back to my back end chart. I'm coming through on the back end, and my chart just disappeared. So sorry about that, guys. Let me go locate the missing software that was in my viewfinder and now has completely frigging evaporated. Okay, is it behind another screen? Is it like lost in space? There it is, tucked in the bottom. All right, here we go again. So I was just finishing up with Scorpio. Alrighty, and for you Scorpios, just a FYI, just a thought anyway. This energy of having I was in Scorpio, right? Yeah. A Mercury moving through your 11th house is going to really help you with your health. I'm glad I continued with you. I forgot about that. Hygeia is moving through your house of your body, and this is helping you clean up your health, basically. Better food, better eating style, better whatever you need to be more healthy and heal your body if you need to be more physically, emotionally, mentally, or spiritually well. And with a beautiful sextile from Mercury in your 11th house, a group of belonging, a society of belonging, a friend, news from a friend could give you exactly what you need around the 10th of August to secure better physical, emotional, and mental health. Okay, moving forward into the story of the rest of the sky. Especially given that Mercury is the ruler of your 8th house of stock markets, bequeathments and stuff. Not that I'm suggesting a bequeathment, but that's possible as well. Could happen in the month of August for some of you, Scorpio rising in particular. Sagittarius, sun, moon, and rising, you are experiencing the yearly transit of Mercury in your 10th house of career and reputation, what you strive to do to succeed your ambition. Now, when Mercury's up here, this is good for your career in the sense that if you're in the sales career where you have to market, sell, or merchandise something, and Mercury's going through your 10th house, you're like on steroids doing really well. But it's also about information, news, and good things coming to you, communications in the career environment that are going to help you succeed. And during this month of August, I'm going to highlight a couple of those placements. If you go back to August 12th to 30th last time you had Mercury in your career house. I think about one of my Sag friends had a positive up level in his career at that time. Okay, a new contract, Mercury contract signed, a new level, a new position. Now, with this energy in the beginning, like the 6th or so of August, in a trying to Cupido, the god of passion, in the 2nd house of earnings, it does look like there's a potential upgrade for you, a up level of some sort. It offers you some new opportunity financially through your work environment and some good news around money and work. And then there's a love up from the Vestal Flame in the 4th. Maybe things that you're doing at home pay off. Maybe this up level financially allows you to make a change or something in your home. You've been having a Mars transit through the house of tenancy. So if you rent your place, there could be a change coming there as well. And you also have the experience of this lovely Hygeia, the goddess of health, mental, emotional, physical well-being and wellness in your 12th house. She's trying to help you undo your addictions if you're a Sag rising especially. But what do you do to undo yourself? Is it a habit, a pattern, a self-sabotaging thing you do? Is it a food? Is it an addiction to a substance? And Hygeia is helping you clean up your mental, emotional, and physical addictive patterns and self-undoing tendencies. And all of a sudden, this Mercury in the 10th house and she become collaborative. So Mercury could give you information or news from somebody in your collegiate or career space to help you do that. And that could lead to also the 12th house is money from foreign shores, revenue from foreign shores, or trips to foreign shores. Some of you, Sagittarius, may plan a trip to a foreign shore to support your better mental, emotional, physical well-being. And Mercury, the patrons of travelers, is bringing the news about how and where that trip can occur. And that's around the 10th of the month of August. But it kind of plays out throughout the whole month to some degree. I won't cover any other Mercury transit. I'm going to do a whole separate video on Mercury trine Uranus, which happens the 14th, the 18th of the month. So I'm going to keep moving on. Capricorn, sun, moon, rising sign. The energy of this yearly transit is your 9th house. This happened August 12th to the end of the month last year. It involves travel. It involves legal affairs working in your favor. It involves information and news around visas and passports. It involves good things happening in academic environments for you. And if you're a book publishing type, good news in that realm as well. And getting the agent, getting the publisher, signing the deal. In the beginning of August, on the 6th of the month, your Mercury in the 9th house transit will trine Cupido, the god of ardor, passion, and delight, and turned on. You're just turned on. And that's in the house of your body, your health, and you. Especially if you are a Capricorn rising sun or moon in the first 8 degrees or so of the sign of Capricorn. Something is lighting you up with passion, passionate trip, passionate academic study, passionate purpose. The 9th house is purpose, like your Dharma. And this is also so exciting for many Capricorns who work so hard to find this passion lighting up in your sky. And you're going to find that the Vestal flame of sacred devotion, perseverance, and dedication, like a hearth fire from your 3rd house, is loving up this story by sending sextile beams to Cupido, and maybe in some ways saying some of this passionate excitement is definitely around some travel opportunities, both the Vesta and Mercury in the house of travel. You may be planning the trip in the first week of August, or you may be taking the trip in the first week of August. Or you may be learning something that you're going to be dedicated to. And that's also just firing you up in all cylinders, especially with Mercury, who loves to study. Later on, around the 10th of the month, you're going to have Hygeia, the goddess of mental, emotional hygiene, physical wellness, in a energy of you're coming from your 11th house, or your social groups and networks, friends and allies, supporting you, or Mercury in this case, to up-level your hygiene and health and wellness around the collaborative groups of people you belong to, and the great financial gain from your career, if you do have that, in harmony with that foreign lands, travel, academia, study, knowledge, purpose, and wisdom Mercury. You may meet a healer, because the 11th house is other people. A friend introduces you to a healer. A friend tells you to try healing with this healer. And whatever that is about, it works in your behalf, works in your favor. It is very positively supporting better health to your body. Hygeia is sextiling your ascendant, especially if your ascendant is in the first 5 to 15 degrees, or your sun, moon, rising 5 to 15 degrees of Cap. You may be hearing through your social networks about an amazing opportunity to visit a kind of doctor, healer, could be allopathic or non-ordinary, it doesn't matter. And that's going to really support your physical vitality and your passionate energy in life. I'm an Aquarius rising, so Aquarius rising, sun, moon, and sun, moon, and ascendant. We are having, excuse me, I just dropped something. We are having this journey of Mercury that last happened August 12th to the end of the month. Now it's back again, August 4th to the 26th in Virgo, which is our 8th house of other people's money, bank loans and bequeathments, mortgages and credit card debts. What do you call it? Like home equity loans, how you leverage money that doesn't belong to you. Credit lines. And this is going to be a positive development, as Mercury moving through here will help you eliminate or clear up or deal with or tidy up or succeed in those areas. And I can go back to last August, and I do remember I paid down a credit card like all in one swoop that I had taken a little bit of money on, like one of those 0% interest loans. So there's Mercury going through here to help with that story. And because Mercury is doing that with support from passionate Cupido in Capricorn, there's a lot of passion coming from the possibility of generating money from PayPal, Stripe, Square, payment processors, or things you do online that generate revenue from foreign lands and shores. 3rd from the 10th is why I say that, because of your busy work. I also would say that you are having the experience too of a Vestal flame of devotion in the money house. Now, Vesta in your money house traveling through Pisces is really about getting dedicated, perseverant, and devoted. Like you have to keep a flame alive in your earnings part of your sky. I can definitely relate to that right now for sure. And she is sending support beams as well to Cupido in the back end of the 12th house. Maybe you could say Cupido in the back end is you're doing things passionately behind the scenes that we're going to reap rewards later on. And Mercury is giving you the financial means and support to do that from the 8th house. Okay. Whether it's credit cards, loans, or a stock that pops or a crypto that pops, I don't know, but money's coming and support is coming for that. It is a bequeathment transit. Anything going through the 8th can be an inheritance transit. Mercury would bring news of an inheritance or news of a transit, a news of some money coming from someone in a will or something for some of you, not for all of you. So don't get your nails all bitten up over it. And Hygeia, the goddess of hygiene and health, is in your 10th house of career, along with that South Node. I mean, a lot of us Aquariuses are trying to heal, bring better wellness and health to our career path, meaning that like we can't do everything all the time like we're inclined to do. And so for me, it's like, can I really do these many readings, these many YouTube videos, and this many classes, right? So if something's got to give, and I'm working on healing that part of my sky so that I have time for fun in life and play and joy and experiencing life beyond the work environment. And I think with Hygeia and that sextile to Mercury, whatever we're doing, we're getting fiscal support, financial support from Mercury to heal and restore and clear up our career path. Okay, this is the best way of putting it. And that's definitely playing out around the 10th of August, but it's kind of also playing out for all of August. Last but not least, Pisces, sun, moon, and rising sign. The energy of my burnt nose. The energy of this is happening for you every year. Virgo transit Mercury. Last was the 12th of August last year to the end of the month. Now it's back again, August 4th to the 26th. It's always going to be the same place. This is called the Virgo house in your whole sign houses. And your Virgo house is a house of your marriage, your business partners, and your audience and your clients. Now, Mercury can help you sell to your clients and your audience and your marketplace when he moves through here. So you may put on some kind of extra special effort to reach out, communicate, and sell and market and merchandise things to your audience and marketplace, if that is something you do, Pisces. However, this is also not just about you. The 7th house is your marriage partner, for example, or significant other that you are committed to. And they may have some information or news, Mercury, to tell you or to reveal about something they're deeply passionate about. And that's because Cupido is trining this from the house of groups of belonging. Your partner says, I just joined the society of, whirling dervishes and I'm loving it. Or I just joined a new yoga studio and I'm on fire. Or I just met a new friend and I'm so crazy about this person. So maybe this is less about you and more about them, possibly. With a Vestal flame of devotion, also loving up this Mercury and sending it a beaming love and sextiling, beaming love to Cupido from your house of you, but you're opposing the Mercury, something that you're devoted to do with yourself, Pisces, something that you think is a sacred flame you must devote yourself to. You might find that your partner, your marriage partner or significant other opposes you and is gnarly about it. So just keep that in mind. This is like a self and other axis for you. So Mercury could be, sharper words or difficult communications around something you're devoted to that your partner doesn't necessarily see eye to eye on. And yet the Vestal flame of your devotion supports your passionate purpose in reaching out to larger groups of people with what you're doing. The 7th house, the 11th house can bring fame, or it can be how you influence larger groups of people. And later on, around the 10th of the month, Pisces rising, especially but sun and moon, Hygeia, the goddess of hygiene and health and well-being in the 9th house, will love up Mercury in your 7th house. This could be your main partner or business partner going on a foreign land trip, having a legal affair work on their behalf, or you, Mercury in the 7th, having a legal court thing finally declare itself favorable regarding what you would like to see. So a hygienic legal situation, cleaning up wellness and health in a legal matter. It's very possible around the 10th of the month for some of you. And with the sun going through the sign of the 6th house for you, Leo, it could be to do with legal matters regarding landlords and tenancy. And just a possibility because the sun does get involved in this story. Or work agreements and legal matters around work agreements, working in your behalf, working on your favor. All right, so I'm done. Don't forget to like and subscribe. There's a lot more stuff Mercury does in the month of August, as I covered some of it in the beginning, but I'll be doing individual videos, especially stay tuned for the one I'm really excited about, August 14th, 18th, with Mercury trine Uranus, only because it reactivates the big boom and really gets things going in a story that is also being reactivated on August 11th by a full moon in Aquarius. So this is a very special Mercury move in that time frame of around August 14th to the 18th. So stay tuned for that longer video for all signs coming. And don't forget, I have a lot of stuff going on here. Like, subscribe, hit the bell for notifications. I hope to see you guys around. And thanks for helping my channel grow. I appreciate all of you so much. And I am recording. I had a thought, no, did I stop my recording? I didn't. Ciao.